Let's start. Let's. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. So we have distributed the book donated by Mangala Vihara Management Committee, not by me, because we ordered 2,000 books for YMBA. So donated by Mangala Vihara. So actually, one of the very famous monks in Myanmar who wrote so many books about Sutta and Abhidhamma, especially very difficult subject, Abhidhamma and also meditation. And he said that if you complete this book, you complete summary of 2 Pitakas, Sutta Pitaka and Abhidhamma Pitaka. That means if you know all the contents here, you know all the teachings mentioned in Sutta and Abhidhamma Pitaka. So he said that, of course, this Sutta is the summary of all the teachings, especially from Sutta and Abhidhamma, not Vinaya. Actually, Vinaya no need to know because this is only for monks and nuns, right? So therefore, I think learning this book is really good. Actually, I use this book, the same version, but very slightly different. Not the page, only 1 or 2 lines different. Based on this book, I give the number. Sorry that later I will check with this one also. Only 1 or 2 lines different. But sometimes, of course, the pages very rare case. Maybe I will give the page number based on this book later, right? I think it's important to read. I think initially this one very difficult to read for you. So I think many people said that too difficult, too technical. Then after learning some topic here, you just go and read. Very easy one. So it became very easy. So if you do not understand, just tell me. Actually, last week we talked about different type of wrong view based on commentary explanations. But this one, a very easy one, from Samadhi Sutta. Samadhi means right view. So this Sutta talk about right view. What are the right view? The Venerable Sariputta, some of the monks ask Venerable Sariputta. So people say right view, right view, right view. What is right view? And he said that different type of right view. Normally 5 categories, but here I take only 4. But the last one, the other one is not very, little bit difficult. But you have to learn in the other chapters. But I didn't take that one. So instead, I take 4 categories. Number 1, not knowing unwholesome and wholesome deeds, kusala and akusala. So please remember these two Pali words, kusala and akusala. So we have learned, right? Not knowing. So if you do not know wholesome deed as a wholesome deed, if you do not know unwholesome deed as a unwholesome deed, that means you have a wrong view. So if you think that wholesome deed as a unwholesome deed, that you think that unwholesome deed as a wholesome deed, you know, it's a, how to say, different, reverse view. So that is the wrong view. Actually, I will explain a little bit of unwholesome and wholesome deeds, because it's very important what the Sutta explain. What is wholesome deed? So what are the unwholesome deeds, right? So you must know it. This is number one type of wrong view. Number two, not knowing the root of unwholesome and wholesome deeds. Not knowing the root of unwholesome and wholesome deeds. Here, the root. You know, we have a three root: lobha, dosa, moha, right? Greed, hatred, and delusion. All these are the root of unwholesome deed. So if you do not know, if you do not only knowing, if you think that the greed, hatred, and delusions are good. You know, many people are like this. A few weeks ago, I went to NUS. Then I explained about dosa, hatred, and also aversion. And one of the students complained that sometimes some anger. Sorry, I explained about anger. Sometimes some anger produces a good result. Actually, his question, or how to say, counter question is really, I think, easy. Of course, he can give so many examples. As a boss, right? Must show anger. Right? So in this way, the worker became very afraid. Yeah? They will walk. Actually, if you have such a view, anger is good. That means wrong view. Wrong view. Any type of anger may not give a good result. So that is wrong view, right? That's the wrong view. And also moha, delusion. Lobha. Many people say that I must have desire, I must have a greed, right? Otherwise, I cannot do business like this, right? Of course, this is today I will talk about different level of greed, different level of lobha, right? So we must understand. So if you do not understand different stages of greed, and then you don't have a good understanding. So therefore, learning about Abhidhamma is learning about our mind. So therefore, it's very important. So not knowing the root of unwholesome and wholesome deed. I answer one question. One of the students asked me the difference between ignorance and deity, wrong view. Actually here, it look like not knowing unwholesome and wholesome deed. It look like ignorance. Of course, they are very similar, slightly similar. But ignorance is the source, the origin of the arising of wrong view. Because of ignorance, we do not know the right and wrong things. Ignorance, right? Actually, I don't know the meaning of the definition of an English word. So here we are talking about avijja, right? Avijja or moha, the same. The definition is not knowing wholesome and unwholesome deed. That's also called avijja or moha, right? Moha. But right view or wrong view arises because of ignorance. But here we use the word delusion. The delusion and ignorance. Maybe normally we translate the word avijja as a ignorance. But here moha as a delusion. They are the same. They are the same, right? Sometimes the Buddha used the word avijja. So if he want to emphasize the main original suffering, he will use the word avijja, ignorance. But here, general term, delusion, right? The same, they are the same. Because of moha, we have deity, we have a wrong view. If you do not have moha, greed, hatred, wrong view, or conceit cannot arise. So therefore, delusion, moha is the origin of all unwholesome deed, right? All unwholesome deed. But here, it looks like delusion, but according to I'm explaining according to Sutta, right? So if you do not know the root of unwholesome and wholesome deed, so that means wrong view, right? Wrong view. Actually, a simple example is, if you think that lobha, dosa, moha are not wholesome deed, not unwholesome deed, so that means wrong view, right? Wrong view. Sometimes compassion, loving kindness, we call it non-hatred, right? Non-hatred or loving kindness doesn't work. Loving kindness is not good, right? Some people may think that. There's also wrong view, right? So we have a three unwholesome root, lobha, dosa, moha. Three wholesome root, alobha, adosa, amoha, right? The next one, not knowing Four Noble Truth. Here, actually, not knowing, actual definition is not knowing the Four Noble Truth is ignorance. Ignorance. But you see suffering as a pleasant. Happiness. Sorry. If you see that suffering as a happiness, if you think that impermanence as a permanence, if you think that non-self as a self, that's wrong view. You acceptance. Normally we have we think that in our mind, we always think that there is I, the word I. So that's also wrong view, because there is no such a one as I, no self. So there's only mind and matter, right? Material form. So that means if you do not accept Four Noble Truths, if you think that the other way wrong, so that is the wrong view, right? Wrong view. Number 4, not knowing dependent originations. So there's also wrong view. So I think very simple one, right? And then normally Abhidhamma teacher, they explain number 1 and number 2. Of course, is connected with in our daily life, right? Usually, Four Noble Truths, dependent originations is a very, I would say that is a spiritual one, spirituality, right? Spirituality. Actually, these are the essence of Buddhism. So, as a normal life, you don't need to know Four Noble Truths. If you are staying in the normal life, but if you know number 1 and number 2, more than enough. But if you want to be a spiritual person, if you want to follow the real Buddha teachings, number 3 and 4, right? So you decide yourself, right? So here, I think we need to know about wholesome and wholesome deed. So we have a 10 unwholesome deed. 10 unwholesome deed. So I think based on that, I will explain greed, hatred, and delusion, right? So I think you need to know a little bit of 10 type of unwholesome actions. So here will be 3 bodily actions. Number 1, killing. Everybody know, right? Killing. Not only killing, but also harming other people bodily, right? Sometimes you may harm other people, right? You may harm sentient beings, animals. So that is a type of killing. Number 2, stealing. Killing normally because of hatred, right? Because of anger, right? Because you have anger, because you have delusion in your mind, moha. Moha is the origin of all unwholesome deed. Because you do not know that anger is not good. You do not know that. Therefore, you have a delusion. Because of that, the anger arises. Because of anger, killing takes place, right? So therefore, anger is the root of killing. Killing is unwholesome deed. Anger is the root of unwholesome deed, right? Maybe I would say delusion is the root of hatred or anger, right? Like this. Stealing. Normally, stealing the property of other people. Normally, any type of stealing. So if we steal copyright, if you steal the time in your company, right? Killing the time, playing games like this. These are also a type of stealing, right? Type of stealings. Normally because of greed, right? Stealing takes place because of greed. So the greed is the original stealing. Stealing is unwholesome deed, right? So I think you must know, if you think that stealing is good, that's wrong view, right? If you think that stealing is good, I got it, right? If you think that is a wrong view, right? I think it's not difficult, right? Not difficult. Number 3, sexual misconduct. Kame sumechachara. So this one, normally many cases, right? Not only here, everywhere. Not only in Buddhists, among the Buddhists, but also other religions. So actually it's a human nature. But if you break this precept, this moral conduct, so that means unwholesome deed. But some people may think that it is nice, it is not wrong to have affair with other people, right? If there is a consent, mutual consent. It's a wrong view, right? Because of that wrong view, normally they will do it such a misconduct, right? Such a misconduct. So here, generally based on the greed. The greed is the root of sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct is unwholesome deed. So these 3 are bodily actions, because these 3 actions generally occurring through the door of the body: killing, stealing, sexual misconduct. Actually, in this book, in the 5th chapter, you will have this one. 5th chapter. But I didn't do it. I didn't give the page number. The Maybe when I send out the note, I will give it the number, right? The number. Maybe I will find out a little bit. Page number 206. 206 and 207. 206. Yeah. 20, the same page. The same page. 206 and 207. 207. So you can read it about this one. So these are three bodily actions. Now we have four verbal actions. Vajikama. Telling lie. So what is the root of telling lie? What do you think? What is the root? What will be the root of telling lie? But actually, delusion must be there. And any type of unwholesome deed, delusions is one of the factors. Only you have to think about hatred or greed. Because of hatred, you tell lie, or because of greed, you tell lie. Very easy one. This is mine, right? You steal my book, and I want to say, you talk to me, this is my book, right? What is the root? The root is greed, right? Greed. Telling lie. Number two, slandering. Bisunavacha. You use slander, intention of dividing people, dividing society, dividing the countries, slandering. So what are the root? Hatred, right? Hatred is the root. Number three, hard speech. You're shouting, you're talking harshly, right? What is the root? Hatred. Number four, frivolous talk, nonsense talk. What is what is the root? You're talking nonsense. Why? Sorry? Huh? Delusion is every action, every unwholesome action, delusion is there. Only you have to decide whether hatred or greed. Only two. Huh? No, you're talking nonsense. You're talking about movie and songs. You are even gossip. Gossip. You want to talk about the affair of other people, right? Because of greed, right? Actually, we are just generally we're talking. It may happen because of hatred, right? You tell lie because of hatred, right? But we are talking in general, right? I will say that the nearest cause, right? The nearest cause of the telling lie. Actually, in this page number 206 and 207, we have to learn in detail. But what I've been talking is not precise. So when we go there, when we arrive there, so we will learn in detail. So actually here, killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, bodily actions, right? But here, page number, I think leave it. If I take, maybe we'll learn later, right? So for the time being, so these are, what you remember is these are four verbal actions, right? Four verbal actions. Because they occur generally through the door of the speech. sometimes telling lie by using your body, right? Sometimes you tell lie. Do you have any money and you use your body? No. Actually, you are using your body, not speech, right? Generally talking, right? Sometimes hard speech, very harsh. Not only using hard speech, but also sometimes you show very ugly signs or very, how to say, very. I cannot show. It's not like the shoes, right? Sometimes, especially the driver, right? When they're driving and the other driver makes something wrong, and they will use body language, right? To use hard speech. So therefore, these are, we're talking, generally talking, right? Generally talking. At least we must know, right? 3 bodily actions, 4 verbal actions, and also 3 mental actions. Number 1, covetousness, longing for property of other people. You want the property of other people in your mind, mentally, right? In your mind. You want, how to say, the place that you do not deserve in your office, in your company. You want a higher level of, how to say, the post, right? Post. You have a longing for it, right? This is a covetousness. Actually, this is a very, it is a type of greed, right? Type of greed. So I will show you different level of greed, right? Number 2, ill will, vyapada. This one, you have ill will to kill other people, to shout other people, to scold other people in your mind, right? Not scolding, but in your mind, you want to scold them, you want to kill them, you want to beat them, right? Ill will. This is a hatred, right? Dosa. And number 3, wrong view. Wrong view we are talking, right? Actually, wrong view is connected with greed, connected with the greed, right? Connected with the greed. So these are called mental actions, manokama, generally occurring through the door of the mind, through the door of the minds. So altogether we have 10, right? So these 10 are called the cause of unwholesome karma. The cause of unwholesome karma, 10 type. So I think at least you must know. So wherever we are talking, that means unwholesome deed, we are talking about this one, right? So everything included there. But the cause of those unwholesome deeds are greed, hatred, and delusion. So if you think that unwholesome deed as a wholesome one, that means you have a wrong view, right? If you think that greed, hatred, and delusions are good, that means you have a wrong view, right? Acceptance, not actually is the acceptance of those things, right? But I want to explain when we learn a type of, consciousness rooted in greed. So what is greed? Lobha. Greed is like a super glue. It grabs the objects and clings to them very firmly. You see something, then just like a super glue, you just want to see it. So your mind stick to that form. You hear something, you grab it. So you trying to cling to that song. You eat something, right? The food. So you like it, you cling to that. That is a type of greed, right? So if we are talking in simple way, I like it. I like it so much. I like it. That is called greed, lobha, right? You attach to that, you cling to that. Normally we use the word objects. So here object means 6 type of objects. Number 1, something to see, something to hear, something to smell, something to taste, something to touch, and something to think. Also thinking also a type of object. Sometimes we like to think so many things, right? These are also objects. Actually in Pali we call it aramana. Aramana means something our mind go there and enjoy. So therefore Pali has a special meaning of it. So if you just if I refer to the objects, that means something to see, something to hear, and taste, smell, touch, and think, right? So you have to understand that. Otherwise, it will be confusing, right? So that is lobha. Sometimes we might use attachment, craving, clinging, lust. Left with the stream attached. So here, 2 types of left. One is loving kindness, very pure love. You want good things or welfare of other people. No attachment. But here, the love with the string attached. You love that person because you have something to expect, right? You love your children because they make you happy, right? So actually, if you love your children, there may be 2 types of love. If you love without any expectations, just want them to be happy, to be healthy, to be rich, that is pure love. But if you have expectations, if the behavior of your children upset your mind, that means your love is not pure. Wherever your children behave, if your mind is stable, not touched, that means your love is pure. So is it the way we can define pure love and love with the string attached? So we normally use attachment, craving, clinging, lust, love, street. Normally when we say love, not complete. Love has 2 types, right? Pure love and impure love, right? Okay, these are greed. I think that's all I no need to explain, right? Detail. If you like something, that's greed, right? I think if you learn different stages of greed, I think you will understand much better. From Anguttara Nikaya, Pansu Dawaka Soda. So the Buddha explained different type of defilement, 3 type of defilements. The Buddha explained 3 type of defilements. But based on that, we will learn different stages of greed, right? Based on that soda. Not entirely, only based on that soda. We will learn about the different level of greed. Number 1, gross greed. So which is the root of bodily, verbal, and mental misconduct. Docharita. So actually it's nothing but lobha, dosa, moha. So if you have the hatred to kill other people, that's very, very bad, right? It's called gross greed. Sorry, no. Actually, killing is hatred, right? Adinadana, taking what is not given, or stealing. You steal $10,000 US or Singapore dollar, right? You steal. So that means because of the origin is greed, right? So because of greed, so you steal the property of other people. So such type of greed is very bad. Gross greed. Gross greed. And also the greed or attachment that cause sexual misconduct, right? Actually, sexual misconduct is docharita, unwholesome deed, misconduct, unwholesome deed, right? Misconduct. So actually, if you have such type of greed, very bad, right? Very bad. It harm other people. It harm the society and family, right? So therefore, very bad. We can call it, there is a gross greed. Number 2, middle side greed. Middle side greed. Sensual thoughts. That is sense desire. You go window shopping and you see the clothes, right? And you want to buy. Sense desire, those senses, those sensual pleasure, attract your mind. And you pass by the restaurants. You saw food, right? You want to enjoy. So such type of greed, middle side greed, right? Middle side greed, sexual misconduct. And also we can also differentiate different level of hatred, right? Different level of hatred. So if you have too much anger to kill other people, to harm other people, that was number 1, gross hatred, right? Gross hatred. Then ill will, and also on the desire to harm other people, right? Desire. Actually, number 1 is the root of unwholesome deed. Unwholesome deed means you're going to take action, actual action. Number 1. Number 2 is not taking actual action. It's happening only in your mind, right? So you have desire or you have hate, anger in your mind to harm other people, but you control it. So this will be middle side greed, right? Middle side greed. Hatred. And number 3, subtle greed, very subtle one. Thought about relatives, thought about country, thought about your reputation. These are very subtle ones. You might think that you want to do for your country, right? You want to do something for your countries. You might think that it is not. Actually, if you are, I always explain that from bottom-up view and top-down view. So if you are looking at from the bottom, number 1 is not good. Number 2, stay okay, right? Number 3, very good, right? If you are looking at from bottom, number 3 is very good. You want to get reputation, right? In your business, in your family, in your society. And you want to do, you have a thought about your relatives. You have a slight, attachment. It's not pure love, right? We're talking about impure one. So the Buddha used the word defilements. Defilement means the mind, state of mind that define, right? But this level, in normal case, subtle greed is very good, very good. So you want to do for your country. You think about your relatives, and you thought about your reputations. You want reputation, you want honor, you want praise, right? So these are a very subtle type of greed. Suppose I'm teaching, expecting some praise or some honor or some reputation. That's number 3, subtle greed, right? Subtle greed. But it doesn't harm other people, right? I just want to. But it can be, if such type of greed is very big, right? It will be a big problem. A lot of suffering, right? A lot of suffering. But here, reputation, even reputation. Then I will give you one sutta, talk about reputation, right? Actually, in this sutta, what the Buddha taught, actually in this sutta, what the Buddha is talking is giving the example of the gold seller, goldsmith. The goldsmith will get the gold from some place, and he may wash the grounds and dust, right? And first step. And second step, and he have to clean with the water. With the water. Then at the third step, he have to heat up with, right, to make it gold. Only you heat with the fire. You will be able to make the gold, right? Gold ring or necklace like this. But just like that, if you still have certain type of greed, just like thought about relatives, thought about country, thought about your reputation, you cannot attain jhanas. You cannot perform psychic powers. Actually, the Buddha in that sutta, the Buddha talk about status of mind to perform psychic powers. So even that level is certain greed. So when we are looking at normal level, it's good. But if we are looking from total view, it's not good. It will hinder, the progress of your meditation, right? So then the Buddha said, Dhamma greed. Dhamma greed. But the Buddha used the word Dhamma vitaka. Thoughts connected with the Dhamma. Actually, within your meditations, you have a very good feeling. You can meditate for many hours. During meditations, you have a pleasant feeling. You are enjoying, you are thinking about those feelings. Right? Actually, many people, when they experience a good feeling in meditation, they want to get, right, that feeling again. So this is called Dhamma vitaka. Thought connected with the Dhamma. We call it 10 corruptions or insight. 10 corruption or insight. So even the day before yesterday, I'm teaching meditation, so that's study class in here. And after class, when one guy came and asked me, and during his meditation, he saw very bright light, and he was enjoying to see it. Later on, he became afraid. He don't know what to do. Actually, it is one of the 10 corruption or insight. So when you are meditating based on in-breath and out-breath, so you have to stick to that. If you are just pay attention to those external one, bright light or any type of good things, right? So these are one of the 10 type corruption or insight. So if you are thinking, if you have a attachment to those outside one, that means Dhamma vitaka. Dhamma, the thought connected with the Dhamma. Here Dhamma means 10 corruption or insight. So this is not a defilements, It's a craving toward outcomes of meditation. Of course, you may have, if you have a very blissful state of meditation, you may want to get it again, right? So, and then meditation master will tell you, no, don't attach to those feelings, right? So just do your part. Just concentrate on your meditation object. So I call it, this is a Dhamma greed, right? During your meditations, you will attach to outcomes of your meditations. That's a type of greed, right? So different level of greed, right? Different level of greed. So this is a very interesting suttas that talk about greed, very subtle one. Number 3, very subtle one. Number 3 level of greed. Gain, honor, praise are dreadful, dangerous, right? Dangerous. What do you think? People want gain, right? In business, in social work, social and everything, right? You want honor, you want praise, right? But they are dangerous. If you just see this one, it seems like very pessimistic, right? Look pessimistic, but no, we are looking at from the top-down view. We are looking at from, achieving and surpass security from bondage. That's Nibbana. We are looking at from top-down view. Bhikkhus, dreadful are gain, honor, praise, bitter, vile, and oppressive to achieving the unsurpassed security from bondage. So if you want to attain higher level of happiness, so you have to give up, right? Give up means you don't have to attach to praise and gain and honor, right? So that's what the Buddha said. Therefore, bhikkhus, you should train yourself that we will abandon the arising gain, honor, praise. And will not let the arising gain, honor, praise persist, observing our mind, obsessing our mind. It's a very important one. So one of the sutta, the Buddha said to evaluate whether he is actually Buddha or not. So one of them is, so the Buddha has so many followers. For that reason, he had fame and popularity. So if he is actually Buddha, so those popularities and fame and having a lot of followers were not making any attachment I would say, right? Any attachment. So then only actually Buddha, right? So actually in this sutta, normally we want gain, we want honor. Gain me, something you get in your business. As a man, we get some requisites. So these are gain, right? So because of our good things, we get honor and praise. So if you have attachment to those things, so that is a subtle greed, third level. So if you look at from the top-down view, not good. But if you look at from below, very good, right? It's no harm, right? No harm. Okay, this is a different type of greed. And many people ask, is craving for Nibbana bad? You crave for Nibbana. You have craving to attain Nibbana. Is it bad? What do you think? If you use the word craving or desire, as I said, if we look at from top-down view, it's not good, right? But as the ordinary people, of course, this is the best, right? This is the best. So we have craving or we have desire to attain Nibbana is the best, right? So in one of the sutta, Venerable Ananda said that even desire, chana, have to be abandoned when attain Nibbana. So actually, if you have stay desire to attain Nibbana, if you have stay craving to attain Nibbana, you cannot attain. So therefore, even desire to attain Nibbana have to be abandoned. So therefore, this is the highest one, I would say, the higher degree of greed. I will see. Right? So actually this is a given one example. There is a stream, a small stream. So you are running, many animals, wild animals are following you. A tiger, leopard, elephant like this. Very dangerous. So you need to cross over the stream, small stream. But there's no boat, there's no raft. But luckily there is very big streams. And if you use, there is a, just like a rope. What we call it? In the tree? Huh? Not branches, it's just like a rope. Huh? Fine. Okay, fine, you know it. So you saw that one, just like a rope, right? Then you use it, you hang in you swing your body, and you use it, that one, to cross over the stream, right? But when you arrive the other shore, you are still clinging that way? No, have to abandon. If you are still clinging to that, no, you cannot go the other shore. Right? The other shore. Like this. Even desire to the Nibbana have to be abandoned. So this is, of course, this one will be the highest, the most subtlest greed, right? Greed. Another one, the very well said that independent on craving is to be abandoned like this. We crave for Nibbana. Based on that craving, so we can abandon craving, right? Like this. So what I want to say is, so greed has a different level. So as a normal people, if you understand number 1 and number 2, more than enough, right? More than enough. Number 1, the root of unwholesome deed. The root of unwholesome deed. So if you understand that one, it's more than enough, right? Number 2, sense desire. As a normal people, of course, you will have a sense desire, right? You want to eat, you want to see, you want to hear. These are sense desire. So as long as you do not attain jhana, you still have it. We still have it, right? So number 2 is okay. But number 3 is okay. It's very good for you, right? So number 4 and number 5, better. But number 1, so you have to know the root of unwholesome deed, right? Unwholesome deed. Now we have 8 consciousness rooted in greed. Page number 33. Page number 33. I think you can refer to the book. Actually, my note is very complicated sometimes, so I think better to use the book. Page number 33. Just look at 32. 32. Consciousness rooted in greed, right? So you can look at this one, page number 33. Number 1, consciousness rooted in greed. Oh, sorry, this is the explanation. Page number 33 is the explanation given by Bhikkhu Bodhi. Consciousness rooted in greed is divided into 8 types on the basis of 3 principles. So if you understand 3 main principles, you understand 8 types. So otherwise it's confusing, right? But if you first of all, you need to know 3 main principles. Number 1, feeling, the concomitant feeling. The concomitant and mental factor are the same. The concomitant feeling, Vedana, whether the feeling of joy or equanimity. So here, we have 2 types of feeling. Sometimes you do unwholesome deed with the joy. Sometimes you do unwholesome deed rooted in greed without joy, right? Because somebody forced you to do, right? But you still do it. Equanimity. So therefore you're feeling. Number 2, wrong view. Sometimes you will do it with the wrong view. Sometimes you do with the wrong view. Sorry, without wrong view. You know this is not good, but you still do it, right? Without wrong view. Then number 3, the consideration whether the consciousness is prompted or unprompted. Actually, I will explain prompted and unprompted, yeah? But for now, I think you may not understand. Later, I will explain. So these 3 are very important main principles. So if you understand these 3, you understand 8 consciousness. So if you do not understand these 3 one, I think it will be very messy, right? Messy. Okay, number 1. One consciousness accompanied by joy, associated with the wrong view, unprompted, right? My pronunciation correct? Unprompted, right? Wrong view associated with the wrong view and unprompted. Here I make the joy, wrong view and unprompted, right? Number 1, joy. It's somanasa in Pali. Mental joyous feeling. When you are stealing something, you do joyfully. You are happy to do it. When you are committing sexual misconduct, you do it joyfully. Together with accompanied by joy, right? Accompanied by joy. Number 2, wrong view. Inversion of view. Actually, I have explained, right? If you think that unwholesome deed as a wholesome one, wholesome deed as a unwholesome one, that's a wrong view. Inversion of correct view. Unprompted, asankarika, with a higher degree of volition or motivation. You do full motivation, right? Without here or without external force, without the force of other people. Sometimes we have to do it because somebody is ordering, right? Somebody is telling us to do. So there is an external force. But here, unprompted me without external force, by our own accord. We do it on our own. We steal on our own. And we tell lie on our own. But sometimes you have to tell lie because somebody is forcing, right? Sometimes you are stealing tax, right? Government tax in your company. Because the boss told you to do it. Because of external force. So therefore we call it unprompted. I think the best way is higher degree of volition or motivation, right? So if your motivation is higher when you do unwholesome deed with the greed, that will be unprompted. So if your motivation is not high, lower level of motivation, so that means prompted. The external somebody told you, or even without external force, you are not willing to do it, right? Like this. So if you understand these 3, you understand number 1. One consciousness accompanied by joy, associated with the wrong view, unprompted. Suppose taking a bride, bride, right? Taking a bride is good, nothing wrong. not in Singapore, in Myanmar, some country, taking a bride is the usual one. They do not think that it is not nice, it's not good. In their mind, they think that it's usual. Even they take pride, the bride. Nothing wrong with this. Wrong view, right? Wrong view. But when they take bride, they're very happy. When they get it, they're very happy, right? Accompanied by joy. And unprompted, not forced by anyone. They do on their own accord. So there is such type of one. So if they are doing number one consciousness, one type of consciousness, so actually the result will be bigger. Actually, the more you do with the joy, the wrong view, and without external force, by your own accord, that means that the result of uncertainty is bigger, right? Bigger. So therefore, if you are doing with the number one, bigger. Number two, little bit, smaller. The number 8, smallest, right? Smallest. Accompanied by joy. So when you are doing uncertainty, here, just like that, you are committing such a misconduct, right? I would say. You think that nothing wrong with this. That's a wrong view, right? Actually, it is unwholesome deed. You think that it is not unwholesome, right? So, if you are doing such type of wrong view associated with the wrong, you do it very happily, accompanied by joy, not forced by anyone. Actually, not forced. Actually, number one, very, gross, very, very, very big unwholesome deed. One consciousness accompanied by joy associated with the wrong view and unprompted, right? Any question? No question? Let's go. And then you look at the book, right? Because if you want to, I think you can use your book to take note, right? Something. Number 2, one consciousness accompanied by joy associated with the wrong view. Here, the main point is prompted. Prompted means sasankarika, with the lower degree of volition, chetana, or because of external force. As I say, so you have to steal tax because your boss told you to do so. External force, right? Is a little bit, smaller than number 1. And number 3, one consciousness accompanied by joy. Up to here, accompanied by joy, right? You do it with the happily, with the joy. Then dissociated from wrong view. Dissociated from wrong view means you know that is not good. Such a misconduct is not good. You know it. So that means you don't have a wrong view. But you still do it happily. Right? Number 3. The number 4, accompanied by joy. You still do it happily. You know that it's not good. Stealing property of other people is not good. You know it. Right? Dissociated from wrong view, unprompted, because somebody told you, or with a lower degree of volition or motivation, right? So if you look at number 1 to number 4, that means together with joy, pleasant feeling, you are happy to do it, right? You are happy to do it, but number 1 and number 2 associated with the wrong view. You think that these unwholesome deeds are good, right? Like the wrong view. The unprompted prompted and unprompted. So actually, number 1, unprompted. Number 2, prompted, right? Then number 3 and number 4, dissociated from wrong view. You know that this is not good, right? Stealing is not good. Sexual misconduct is not good. Telling lie, not good. So all these are not good, right? Number 5, equanimity. Number 5 to number 8, together with associated with the equanimity. So you are not happy to do it. So you don't have a prominent feeling. You just do it. So that's equanimity. So what is equanimity? And Bhikkhu said that the other 4 chetas are accompanied by equanimity. So the word upekkha is often used in the Pali text to signify the lofty spiritual quality of equanimity or impartiality. State of mind which cannot be swayed by biases or preferences. Actually, in Pali text, in Pali canon, so the word upekkha is used actually in suttas. The word upekkha is one of the Brahma Vihara, right? Brahma Vihara. Equanimity means whether your mind is stable. Your mind is stable, whether you meet good things or bad things. Sometimes, and most of the time, when we encounter good things, attachment, right? We try to embrace it. When we encounter bad things, we try to reject, right? We reject with anger. But here, equanimity, the lofty spiritual quality of equanimity means, so whether you meet good or bad things, your mind is stable, not moving. So that is called equanimity. No bias at all. No bias in your children. No bias between your co-workers. You're very stable. Stable state of mind. Normally in Pali text, we use this. We often find the lofty spiritual quality or equanimity. But here, not in this sense. Here, however, the word is used simply to mean neutral feeling. Neutral feeling. Actually, lofty spiritual feeling of equanimity also can call neutral feeling. Because your mind is not affected, good or bad, right? Neutral. But here, neutral feeling means a mental feeling which leans neither towards gladness nor dejection. Here, you are not doing, you are stealing something not joyfully, not happily, right? Neutral feeling. So you are not happy, you are not glad, you are not joyful, right? When you are doing with the greed. So therefore, a neutral mental feeling which leads neither toward gladness or dejection. So therefore, when we are dejection means, so when you do not like hatred, right? When you do not like hatred, then you try to reject because of hatred. So therefore, hatred also, when you have hatred, there is no upekkha, no neutral feeling. So there is we call it domanassa. Thus, upekkha or equanimous feeling is also called neither painful nor pleasant feeling. So these are little bit difficult. Neither painful nor pleasant feeling. So when you are seeing or hearing something, if it is good, neutral feeling. So your mind is not stick to that. So when you hear unpleasant sounds or unpleasant things, then your mind is stable, not moving, not rejecting. Neutral feeling. Normally our mind is shaken when we have joy, right? So when we have hatred, shaking. Our mind shaking. But when we have neutral feeling, very stable one. Very stable one, right? So here, neutral feeling. Sometimes we translate indifference, right? Indifference. Actually, indifference a little bit close to hatred, anger. You do not like it because you feel indifferent, right? But actually, neutral feeling will be much better. Neutral feeling. Number 5, one consciousness, accompanied by equanimity. You don't have joy, you just do it, right? You just do it. Associated with the wrong view, unprompted. Number 6, one consciousness, accompanied by equanimity, associated with the wrong view, prompted. 7, one consciousness accompanied by equanimity, dissociated from wrong view, unprompted. One consciousness accompanied by equanimity, dissociated from wrong view, prompted. So these are 8 consciousness rooted in greed. So number 1 to number 4, accompanied by joy. Do it joyfully, right? If you are doing unwholesome deed, rooted in greed, joyfully, so actually the result is much bigger, right? Much bigger. But if you do accompanied by equanimity, lesser, right? If you do associated with the wrong view, bigger. If you do dissociated with the wrong view, lesser. So therefore, I think it depends on the higher and lesser degree, right? If you are doing unwholesome deed with the number 8 type of consciousness, actually the result is lesser, right? Like this. Understand? So here we have a joyful feeling, 4 joyful feeling, and also 4 equanimous feeling, and 4 wrong view, and 4 with the wrong view, 4 unprompted, and 4 prompted, like this. So you have to understand. So if you are taking exam, would you like to take exam? No. Because if you went, actually not now, if you went, and then I can arrange. You know, Burmese are taking Abhidhamma exam in Burmese. Actually here, our temple is exam center. If you went, I can request to Myanmar government to get English paper. Anyone who went to take exam? Only one. But if we have 10 people, we can arrange. Okay, let's see. So actually, normally I encourage Burmese people to take exam. Because by taking exam, and we study hard. We study hard and we can memorize. So they can use it the whole life. If you are just studying, you will forget maybe 2 or 3 years later. Right? Anyway, if you don't want, it's okay. No need. If you don't want, I think only if you don't want, I will focus only the to apply in daily life, right? I think it's the best. Okay, I think we have a 8 type of consciousness rooted in greed, right? Now, dosa, 2 type of consciousness rooted in hatred. What is dosa? Dosa means aversion or a dislike toward the objects. If you do not like somebody, that's dosa. You see somebody that you do not like him, dosa. You see something, you do not like it, dosa. You hear something, you do not like it, aversion or dislike, dosa. Even slight degrees of ill will here, irritation or annoyance, right? All these are type of dosa. Also, dosa also have different level, right? Different level. I mean, I'm not teaching different level because you can use it the same sutta, right? The same sutta. Rejecting toward them, rejecting toward those objects. So we don't have equanimity, the spiritual equanimity. So if you have equanimity, our mind is not shaking, whether good or bad. So our mind is not affected. So therefore, to practice equanimity is very important. So if you have equanimity, your happiness is not destroyed. Whether you see unpleasant people or unpleasant things, whether you hear unpleasant sound, it's okay. Your mind is unaffected. There is a spiritual feeling, right? Spiritual equanimity. So here we can divide two types of dosa. Number one, active dosa. Actually, it's not from Pali Canon, myself. I divided two types of dosa. Number one, active dosa. So if we are in a position to react the objects that we do not like, we feel angry and all past. You see somebody, you are in a position to react. I don't like you. Cut off. Right? So active dosa, very active, very active. And one of your friends is playing music very loudly, very annoying, right? Then you told him, stop. Like this, right? You are in a position to react. That's active dosa, right? Active dosa. Another one is passive dosa. If we are not in a position to react the objects, we feel depressed or frightened. In your company, the boss calls you. The boss is very angry and shouting. Sometimes you are not in a position to react. What happened? Depressed. Fear, right? Fear or depressed and frightened. It's called passive dosa. Fear, sometimes we fear, right? This is not a type of fear, also a type of dosa. Depression, it's not a type of dosa because you do not like your situation. That's also dosa. Anything, any objects. Sometimes crying, right? Sometimes we cried. That's also a type of dosa. Because we do not like what you are encountering. Your father died, your mother died, right? You don't like that situation. Because of that, we call it passive dosa. Independent originations, so the last one, dependent on clinging, karma bhava arises. Karma bhava. Because of that, jati, birth, right? Jara, old age, marana, death, soka. Soka means, sorrow. Yes, sorry, thank you. Sorrow. Prideva, crying, just like a crying. Not crying. It's a very grief, deeper level of sorrow. So all these are a type of dosa. because you have a grief or you have sorrow, what will happen in your life? Right? Like this. You do not like that situation. So situation means the object. So if you do not like, but you are not in a possession, you cannot reverse. If your father or mother died, you cannot revive her, right? Revive them. You're not in a possession to react that situation. And grief, right? Sorrow coming. And sometimes depression coming. So these are also a type of dosa. So therefore, any type of dosa is not good. So that is a right view. Right? Right view. So here we have two consciousness rooted in hatred. Number one consciousness accompanied by displeasure. Of course, when you are angry, displeasure, not good feeling, right? When you are frustrated, when you are depressed, not good feeling, displeasure, domanassa, sahagata. Associated with aversion, of course, aversion toward the objects, unprompted. Unprompted means very higher level of motivation, right? Feel angry. What I say is active dosa. Active, very active. You will shout people. You will harm other people, kill other people because of the dosa. Unprompted, right? Displeasure means unpleasant mental feeling. Aversion means synonymous terms of dosa. Aversion, patika and dosa are the same. And number two, one consciousness accompanied by displeasure, depression, fear, grief, sorrow. Number two, right? Accompanied by displeasure, associated with aversion, prompted, right? Prompted. So lesser degree of motivation or volition, right? Volition. So number one, attitosa. Number two, pasitosa. Generally talking. It's not the same exactly, right? Exactly. Only two type of dosa. One, higher degree. Number two, lesser degree of motivation, right? Motivation. So these are two type of consciousness rooted in hatred. I think time 4 o'clock. Question and answer time. I think that we should also learn how to remove hatred. I think we should also learn how to remove our hatred, our resentment, right? Maybe next week I will teach on how to replace hatred, aversion. No? Any question? I think it's clear. Do you understand? Okay, thank you. So if so, we'll close our class. Yo vadatam pavaro manu jesu sakyamuni bhagavakata kecho aragato bala viriya samangi Tansukatan saranathamupemi Ragavi ragamaninjamasokan Dhammamasangatama patikulan Marurami Mampa Kunan Suvipatam Dhammami Mansaranata Mupemi Yata Chati Namaha Palamahu Chatu Susi Purisa Yugesu Atacha Pokala Dhammadasati Sangami Mansaranathamupemi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay,